Next March will make it a year since the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed. WMAR2 News' Elizabeth Worthington gives a recap of what has happened so far and what's to come in the new year.
It was a cold but calm night as cars traveled over the Key Bridge, unwittingly for the last time. Knowing what we know now, it's eerie watching this live stream capture the moment the dolly loses power just before 1:30 a.m. on March 26th. As it creeps closer and closer to one of the bridge's piers, cars continue passing overhead. 8 construction workers rest in their trucks, taking a break from their overnight shift of filling potholes. Meanwhile, inside the ship, the crew is scrambling to regain control. Yet outside, the calmness persists as Maryland Transportation Authority police take orders, unaware that every second brings them closer to catastrophe.
Yeah, if we can stop traffic, just make sure no one's on the bridge right now. Once you get here, I'll go grab the workers on the Key Bridge.
Then, in an instant, everything changes.
Dispatch, the whole bridge just fell down. Start, whoever, everybody. The whole bridge just collapsed.
Most of us were still sleeping as emergency crews started coming to grips with what had happened.
Is that the Key Bridge that collapsed?
Yes, the whole bridge. The ship lost its steering, and the whole bridge is down in the water over here.
Oh, the infrastructure of Baltimore is going to take a hit. Yeah, for years.
2 of the construction workers miraculously survived. One managed to run off the bridge right before it collapsed. Another fell into the river and held onto a piece of floating debris until he was rescued.
We done a quick search up here on the bridge with our kids.
Body camera footage shows first responders pulling him onto a dock at Fort Armistead. 6 men were still missing.
We are still very much in an active search and rescue posture at this point.
As the sun came up, the world learned what happened.
This morning, our state is in shock.
It's not a lot of information that I can share at this time, and I know there's a lot of information that seems to be circulating.
By the end of the day, the missing men were presumed dead. The next morning, divers discovered the bodies of Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes and Dorleon Castillo Cabrera in a truck beneath the wreckage. Over the next several weeks, Maynor Suazo Sandoval, Carlos Hernandez, Miguel Luna, and Jose Minor Lopez would also be found. As dive teams scoured the mangled metal and debris for signs of their bodies, salvage crews began the painstakingly detailed process of removing 50,000 tons of concrete and steel from the river.
There's a lot of pressure on us, this is affecting our economy. We got to get this waterway open.
It took months, more than $100 million, and an explosion to get the job done. Meanwhile, small businesses cut off from a major artery struggled.
Are we gonna survive? Are we gonna consider selling it, or maybe we have to close down? We don't know.
For the next couple years, we're going to be affected by that, no doubt.
Finally, on June 12th.
Now, I've been waiting to say this for every day for the last 11 weeks. Maryland, the Fort McHenry Channel is fully cleared and the Port of Baltimore is reopened for business.
Bringing critical economic activity back to the region and hundreds of port employees back to work.
And the governor made a commitment to me and to the men and women of the ILA that he was going to take care of us. He had our backs. And sir, your word is good, because that's what you did.
When the still damaged dolly finally sailed out of Baltimore on June 24th, almost 3 months after it originally departed our port for Sri Lanka, it left a trail of devastation and destruction in its wake. But a lengthy legal battle and criminal investigation would still lay ahead. The owner and manager of the dolly, Grace Ocean and Synergy Marine, now face more than 40 separate claims in federal court. Those looking to hold the companies responsible range from cargo companies and the victims' families to the state of Maryland and the city of Baltimore. The accusation, the ship owners cut corners to save time and money.
What has come to light in our investigation is that the dolly was not fit to sail that morning.
In October, the 2 companies settled a suit with the U.S. Department of Justice for $102 million, the cost of the cleanup efforts. But they've denied any wrongdoing from the get-go, and a spokesperson says they look forward to their day in court to, quote, set the record straight. Meanwhile, state transportation officials are moving forward with plans to build a new bridge. Kiewit Infrastructure was chosen as the contractor for the first phase of the project, the design. In the new year, the remaining pieces of the bridge will be demolished. Construction is supposed to start start in the summer and wrap up sometime in 2028.
Mr. Van Hollen.
In the meantime, Congress has committed to fully fund the project. The hope is that payouts from the lawsuits can make taxpayers whole down the line. But as Governor Moore has promised,
I will not be satisfied until I can look over on the Patapsco and see the Key Bridge standing tall again.
in Baltimore, Elizabeth Worthington, WMAR 2 News.